Greetings and welcome to Beltane. Today is May 1st and it is also a full moon. So this is a pretty big, powerful moon that we're dealing with today. I am, sorry, I'm a little distracted because I'm getting internet issue warnings, but that's okay. So as I was saying, it is the full moon of May, and this moon is known as the full flower moon because most of the time May, a lot of the flowers start to come out in the springtime, and so this is all about blooming and blossoming. What's interesting is this is the moon that is also in Scorpio. Now, Scorpio traditionally, there's a couple of signs that are like this where it has a couple of different planets associated with it. So Scorpio is another one of them. I think we've had a couple so far that is traditionally was ruled by Mars. And in the more modern uh, systems and stuff like that, it's ruled by Pluto. So there's a couple of interesting energies that are going on there along with Scorpio around this moon. So we're looking at some really depth into what's going on, some energy to really get things moving. You know, both Scorpio and Pluto have this desire to go deep into things and to really look at sometimes the underbelly of what we tend to kind of want to avoid. And so that's pretty much what we're going to be looking at right now is what's kind of going on as we move into this. What I will say, I'll just double check really quickly. Yeah. So what I will say is interesting is because we have the full moon today on the 1st, there is actually going to be a blue moon at the end of the month as well with another full moon on the 31st of May. So that's going to be an interesting read as well. So I'm shuffling up the cards and we're going to get them all laid out and ready to go. Now, as with all of our moon readings, we have 3 cards. And the first question that we're asking is, what challenge has grown to the point of visibility? Because the full moons are about highlighting different areas of our lives, but mostly in the sense of what is ready to be released, what is ready for us to, let go of so that we can move forward on whatever's going on. And so from the new moon to now, something has kind of started to bloom and come into full view. And interesting, here we have the 10 of Swords. So the 10 of Swords is telling us that, there's almost a defeatist kind of attitude. And what I really like about this guy here is, and I did do a little bit of reading on this card for another thing I was doing. The angel that's in here, according to the artist, is actually the Fool, right? So the Fool is an angel in disguise in the themes of this deck. And so here you have the Fool has basically dropped all of their disguise and everything. And in the hand, if I see if I can put it in here, I think it gets too dark. He's holding the Fool's, the jester hat. And he's basically just kind of given up. And we have those moments of collapse in the deck and in our lives. And with the 10 of Swords, that collapse comes from the anxiety and the stories in our head that tell us it's never going to end, that it's always a struggle. I've been here before, and no matter how many times I come here, it's always the same. It's always harder. And what this is highlighting and coming into full bloom is the idea that the stories try to say it's the same thing, right? Like no matter how much I try to clear it out, it just keeps happening. It's still the same, but it does always change. There's always a slight different flavor to it. There's always a slight different, breaking point to it. And so what we're looking at is how much power are we giving the stories, and how much are we allowing those stories to really just defeat us and to keep us down? Because the 10 of Swords is also that indication that the dawn is coming, right? This situation that you're feeling, the thoughts that you have in your head, the anxiety, it's all going to be coming to an end in this current cycle. Now that, keep in mind that it's going to come back again, right? That's how it works. But the thing is it's understanding that instead of allowing it to defeat us, and instead even of solving it, to see the mechanics of how it works, to understand and to be able to clearly express what it is that we're really dealing with and what we're really struggling with. And that's what's coming to full blossom, is where in your life are you struggling, and instead of talking about it, instead of bringing it forward to try to find a solution, to try to bring an end to it, where are you just suffering in silence and allowing it to beat you down? So that's going to be the theme of the next couple of weeks for sure, until we get to the new moon, but definitely between now and the blue moon at the end of the month. That's going to be a big theme that's going to be coming around, is, where are you allowing your anxiety, your stress, your overwhelm, and the stories that you're telling to just kind of keep you deflated and beaten up? So then the next one we have is, what needs to be cleared to see the truth that is here asking for attention? And here we have the Five of Coins. And this one's interesting. Like, there's a lot of different ways that the Five of Coins is depicted in different decks and everything. And what I really like about this one is, you have the beggar here who's receiving the one coin, and the window above his head holds four others, showing that there is access to other things. And I think that plays perfectly with the Ten of Swords, who is saying, oh, you're no good, this is dumb, no matter what you do, it's always going to stay the same, you're always going to struggle, you're always going to have these problems. The Five of Pentacles is that kind of an energy as well, but it's coming at it from a physical perspective of being unable to see what you have access to, what you have available, and really bringing your vision down to a very small, finite of what you allow yourself to receive and what you allow yourself to use and have access to. It's a little bit different from the Four of Pentacles or the Four of Coins. That's more like a hoarding of, I have to hold on to the resources and this money because I don't know what's going to happen next. And it's definitely different from the Six of Coins, which is learning how to receive with grace. So the Five of Pentacles is that midpoint of break, right? Where it's, you either understand that there are other opportunities that may be outside of your control that you can receive and accept, that moves you to the Six, or you're sitting there and going, no matter what I do, it's never going to change, so I'm just going to give up. And it moves you back to that Four, back to that hoarding kind of idea of, I need to be prepared, I need to be safe, I can't trust that there is something else out there. And so the truth that's coming forward from all of this is, it's the truth that there is choice where you are at. And being able to clear away the stories that might be twisting and distorting what's going on is going to be kind of the key and important thing right now, so that you can really understand what the choice is that you're holding in your hands and be able to make a choice that is more in alignment with what you need, right? If you move back to the Four, then that's being unable to see the growth point and being unable to make the choices to release whatever's holding you in this pattern. And if you can make the choice to move forward, then that's opening up the space for you to release whatever needs to be released right now and understand that there is opportunity out there. And our final card is, what needs to change for you to engage with clarity? And I think that's what's really going to happen with the Five of Coins with your choice, is the clearer you can get, the farther you can get away from the twisted and distorted stories, the more you're going to be able to make the choice that is going to be of benefit to you. And here we're going to end with a beautiful card, which is the Star. And this is like the major power wish card of the deck. And with the Star coming in at the end and saying, like, for you to get clarity, what you really need to understand is, what is it you want to embody? What is it you want to feel? What is it you want to gain that is separate from the attachments? Because when we say, I wish I had a big red sports car, anything less than that big red sports car is going to be seen as a disappointment, which will then probably trigger the stories of, see, even when I wish for a big red sports car and I never get it, then that means I'm never going to get it. So then I just need to kind of sit here and hold on to this, small little sports car that I have and get stuck kind of in those patterns. But the wish card isn't about wishing for specifics or wishing for things we have an attachment to, or wishing for things that, we intend. It's saying to the universe, you know what? I want to be able to get up in the morning and be excited. I wish for that. And the universe is going to reciprocate by sending you something. And how you engage with what is sent to you is going to determine if that is part of the answer to your wish. And by limiting the universe by saying, I want that big red sports car, what you're really doing is saying, I want to only have a very small, safe place to be, because there's a requirement that you trust that there is a bigger intelligence kind of out there that's guiding. So I think right now what we're looking at is we're definitely looking at a 2 weeks of really engaging deeply with the stories that we're telling ourselves, really starting to question what we have access to right now and what do we have access to that we're unable to see or unable to understand that is there for us. And then we need to release the attachments that we're holding so that we can really start to move forward and say, you know what? I'm going to let go of these attachments. I'm going to let go of this perfect idea or image I have in my head of what's going to make me happy, and just say, you know, I want to feel, and really try to embody what it is you want to feel and say, this is what I want to feel. So when those opportunities, when those events, when those situations start to come in, you'll be able to tell if the story is going to move you towards that, if you're going to be able to have the resource that's going to support that, or if you're going to say, no, I don't want this. Because the thing is the universe will give you what you're asking for. And so if you are stuck in those stories, then the universe interprets that as saying, you like those stories? You like to feel that way? Okay, I'm going to give you something else that will match that frequency. So it's really important that we pay attention to the messages that we're sending and the things that we're engaging energetically with, and the stories that they're creating inside of us, because this is going to be a pretty powerful month as far as digging deep into our stories. And to do this, you know, this is the bad news kind of it. To do this, you have to be willing to admit it's going to be uncomfortable, because let's be honest, when we're going through these struggles, it's already uncomfortable. And if you want the uncomfortable to stop, you have to be willing to admit to what it is that's making you uncomfortable. And in some ways, you have to also accept culpability for your actions and your choices. And that's really the best way to move forward. So I hope that you enjoyed this reading. I really do love the new and the full moon readings, and I will see you again when we come to our new moon in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, take care, and I will see you around the webs.